What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Hybrid Network and yet another DC Extended Universe topic video. I'm sure by now you all know how the story goes by now in Batman v Superman, but in case you've been living under a rock, well, Superman died. Killed in an epic clash with the genetic monstrosity Doomsday. The combination of Zod's Kryptonian body fused with the genetic makeup in Lex Luthor's blood. Giving his life for the rest of the planet, Superman sacrifices himself by plunging a spear made of kryptonite into the beast, receiving a bony spear through his own chest as a result. A dramatic scene, one that's kind of relieved once we see that he'll be back in the next film, but what if Clark Kent isn't the only one to return from this death? If you're not in the know, Doomsday is a rather interesting figure within the pantheon of DC Comics. For while he's notable for causing the death of Superman, as reflected in the DC Extended Universe, there's a certain aspect of him that the general audience may not know about. You see, in the comics lore, Doomsday was created on the harsh, barren wasteland that was known as prehistoric Krypton. A world before the dominance of the Kryptonians we know today, Doomsday was a genetic experiment created by a scientist named Bertrand, who wished to instigate a force that accelerated natural evolution in order to create the ultimate living being. Taking an infant born in his lab, he'd release that infant into the wild, where it would be promptly killed by the harsh environment. Upon finding the infant's corpse, Bertrand clones a stronger version of that infant, complete with all the memories and agony from its previous incarnation, and repeats the process, this time the infant being immune to whatever had previously killed it through this violent cycle of forced evolution. The infant eventually grows to hate all life and becomes the monster we know as Doomsday, who makes his way to Earth to fight the Man of Steel in a clash of titans before they both ultimately kill each other. Now, while the comics version and the DCEU version have some differences, Doomsday's biggest feature has always been this accelerated evolution. He's shown back up many times within the DC universe, each one gaining some sort of evolutionary resistance to the thing that killed him prior. It's one of the things he's most known for, so it strikes me as odd to think that this DCEU Doomsday would just be flat out dead knowing this fact. Sure, a kryptonite spear to the chest is brutal, but if Clark can come back from such a blow, why not Doomsday? It'd be pretty interesting to be able to use the character again in a future movie, to maybe use him in a Man of Steel sequel to have Clark face the thing that killed him in the past, to rise above this devil and actually conquer his limitations once more. Or, and here's just a thought, a different Doomsday. Let me explain. So, in the scene where Lex Luthor places General Zod's body in the Genesis chamber, he adds his own blood into the pool, something the AI aboard Zod's ship protests against, stating that according to the Council of Krypton, none again shall give life to a deformity. It's interesting to note that this is something to advise against, as if a creature of this magnitude was created in the past. Well, it was. Basically, my thought process is that there's something special about Kryptonian DNA that when spliced with outside genetic material that clashes with their own, a Kryptonian forms into a monstrous behemoth, incapable of thought or reason, only destruction and violence. It must have happened before for this warning to go off, so does this mean that somewhere out in that cold, expansive universe there's another creature seething with hatred for all life around it, hoping to extinguish every last flame of existence within its sight? And is it possible that that very creature could find its way to Earth? A creature so much stronger, so much faster, and so much deadlier. I'm just saying, if Warner Brothers really wants to try again with Doomsday, they have an outbuilt within Batman v Superman, a way to bring in another Doomsday, maybe one that looks a little bit more like his comic counterpart if that's a point of contention for some people. Who really knows? But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think Doomsday could return in a future DC film, or do you think he's dead for good? Hell, do you even want him to return in a future DC film? Let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to stay subscribed to the Hybrid Network to stay all up to date on all of our videos as they come out. My name is Luke, and I'll catch you guys next time.